Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, and if my hair is up, that means we're probably cooking in the kitchen. So today I really wanted to bring you guys back to my childhood, what it felt like to grow up in an Italian home where there was always a pot of meat sauce ready on the stove by 3 p.m. Last weekend, my husband and my oldest son inspired me to want to do this video when they killed my entire tray of chicken Parmesan without even saving me a morsel to taste. So it's clearly a house favorite, and it really does make me feel like grandma's house going for any kind of holiday. So today I wanted to share with you some baked ziti and some chicken parm. So I'm going to take you down to the counter. I'll show you all the ingredients that you're going to need. I'm going to have my husband cooking with me in the kitchen today. So let's get started. Okay guys, so here are the things that you're going to need to make the baked ziti and the chicken parm. I will tell you this though, I always say this, but I'm going to say it again. Please check the description box for the exact recipe, because my recipe, how I would normally make this, is to a full pound of pasta. But I'm not going to make a full pound of pasta because this is not the part of the dinner that is the house favorite. My girl Anna from the Coffee Driven Homemaker is the one who mentioned she would love to see the baked ziti part of this when I bought this big ricotta cheese from BG's. So otherwise, this is not as much of a big seller in the house because this is not what they love. I eat this with a spoon, not so much them. So the description box will have the measurements for the pound of pasta. Otherwise, that's not what I'm making today. So you'll need a pound of pasta, a 3-pound container of the ricotta cheese, some Parmesan cheese. You would need 3 eggs to your 3 pounds, 1 egg per pound. This milk is for that. And mozzarella cheese and salt and pepper. And obviously your marinara sauce. I made a big pot of meat sauce this morning, and it's been on the stove for hours and hours now. Our pot of boiling water is going. And then for your chicken parm, it's super simple and super easy. Here's your chicken breast. I'm actually going to show you guys how I fillet them. I normally would just skip this step and have them already filleted and just ready to be breaded, but I am a super good filleter, and yes, I am patting myself on the back for that because I do a really good job. So I figured I would just set the camera up for a few minutes and just show you guys how I do that. But here's the chicken that you need. You'll need eggs, milk, your breadcrumbs, which I'm using the Italian style breadcrumbs by Progresso, and then just some olive oil to fry them in. We're going to fry them, and then we're going to top them with sauce, and then some more mozzarella cheese. So that's all that we're going to need. So let's get our prep going. Okay guys, so Daryl just salted the water and dropped the pasta in. So the pasta for our baked ziti is going, and I want that to sit and cool for just a little bit. It's way easier to mix all the ingredients and layer it in the pan before when it's not hot. Okay, so here's the chicken, and let me show you a piece that I haven't cut yet. So these are really big cutlets, and I usually just trim off this like white piece that's connected right here, which I just did. That's little guts piece right there. And then I find the fattiest part of the chicken right here, and I stick my hand flat like this, and I stick the knife in. Now, if you stick the knife in thin enough, you can get 2 cuts out of it, giving you 3 pieces. So I put my hand good and tight and flat and place the knife in that first divot that I made. And you have to stay firm. If you stay firm and even and follow through, then your piece is going to come out good and filleted like that. And then usually, depending on how I cut this next piece, if I cut the first piece kind of thick, then this piece won't, these two won't be as big as the first one. So you have another filleted piece here. And like I said, now you have like a smaller end piece. Now this piece is even bigger than that one, so. pasta is finishing up cooking, here is the mixture that we're going to use for the baked ziti. Now, some people mix all of it together and just bake it in the oven like that. I have a tendency to layer mine like lasagna, just so that there's differentiation of layers in case, like I said, those who aren't thrilled with this dish could kind of pick around the parts that they like the least. I happen to love this, like I said. So I have my ricotta cheese in here and 2 eggs. That helps make it really creamy for spreading. And then this is salt. So you're gonna really, the ricotta cheese is salty really enough, but you still want to give it like a good dose. And then a good dose of pepper. And then here is the Parmesan cheese, the grated kind that I get from Trader Joe's. So I'm going to use a big heaping scoop here of that. And then this is about maybe a little over 2 cups. I'm not going to use the entire thing, so I'm going to use some top on top. But now we're just going to mix this all the way through. And then once the pasta is done, we're going to cover that with the sauce that I made. Make sure the pasta is good and coated, and then we'll layer the pan with pasta and sauce and this good mixture inside and cheese. So like I said, it's almost more like a lasagna, but you're not using those big heavy noodles. Okay guys, so here I am with just an 8x8 pan here. Again, if you do the full recipe the way it's supposed to, you will definitely need a larger tray for this. I also forgot to mention that, if you guys noticed, this is rigatoni pasta and not ziti, but I really love when the cheese like gets into these little like big holes, so I kind of prefer it with rigatoni. Again, this is more my take on baked ziti because this is definitely not the conventional method. But alright, so I took the pasta and I gave it a good layer on the bottom here, and it's all sauced up and ready to go. So now I'm going to take this mixture that we made and we're going to smooth it down. Okay guys, so now don't have fear. It is going to overflow a little bit over the top. If you feel comfortable, or feel uncomfortable rather, with having it like this high when you put it in the oven to bake the cheese, you can just stick a cookie sheet underneath just to catch any of the bubbling residual, but it's definitely going to be tight in the pan and be right up top. And now I'm scraping the bottom of the pot here. I'm getting the last of the noodles out. It's going to be a nice perfect fit. I love when that happens. And then I'm going to sprinkle some cheese on the top. Now you can bake this if you don't want the hard, crispy, crunchy kind of top. You could bake this with some tin foil on the top, and it'll just keep the cheese from being more of like a oozy kind of cheese. If you like yours to be brown and bubbly, kind of the way that pizza does, then just put this in the oven uncovered. Now, obviously this is all cooked, so you do not need to put it in for long. This is just to make everything congeal together, but you do want to get it hot enough since we put raw egg in this ragout so that you can get, you know, good and cooked through. But I'm going to grab a little bit more cheese for the top, and then we'll slide this in the oven. Okay guys, so the baked ziti is in the oven, and being that that takes the longest, Now we can work on the chicken parm. So the pan is on the stove, the oil getting ready to get hot to fry these. And now we're just going to coat them in the egg wash and milk bath and then put them in the breadcrumbs. Now, my mom, she does not fry her chicken cutlets first. She just breads them, sticks them in the pan, covers them with sauce and cheese, and puts them in the oven. I happen to really like the chicken cutlets fried first. It really just kind of sears in the flavor. It gives them a really nice crisp before they go in the oven, but you totally could skip that option, especially if you're trying to go on the more healthier end of things. You do not have to fry them, but I'm not going to stand test that that is my recipe then, because there's just something about the way that it is when it comes out fried. There's nothing better. So let's get these chicken cutlets breaded and then we'll get them in the frying pan. So I've already gone ahead and fried a bunch of these pieces. So now I'm just continuously frying so we can get all of them done. Now I popped back on to give you guys a little bit of a tip, just because it's one of these things that I have learned while frying, is that even if you have tons of room in the pan, you really don't want to squish them and make them fit, just because the more that you add to the oil, the more that it brings the temperature of the oil down, and then everything doesn't cook evenly. So I try not to overload, which is why it usually does take me a little bit longer to fry. This step does get a little monotonous, but once this is done all frying up, then we'll finish adding it to the pan and we'll top it off and get it into the oven. Okay guys, so the chicken cutlet is all fried, and now I'm just going to take my sauce that I made and we're just gonna make sure that we cover the chicken thoroughly, and then I usually add just a little bit of water to the bottom of the pan. So once I'm done covering this with sauce, I'm going to put the cheese on, and then I'll put a little bit of water at the bottom, and then I'll put it in the oven. That's just so it doesn't stick when it's all melting, and then we'll probably put it in the oven for like 15 minutes. You really don't need much more than that because the chicken is really good and cooked from us frying the chicken cutlets. So really all that you're doing is just melting the cheese and getting the sauce good and hot, and then we'll take it out of the oven and see how good and yummy this looks. Look at that, you guys. Come on. So yummy, right? So I am not going to talk long because I am going to go and sit with the man. He was an amazing sous chef for me today. So we're going to go and eat this all up. But this is that baked ziti all cooked up. You can tell that he was stealing little bites here from this corner because he couldn't even wait for us to put it in a plate. And you can see all the different layers, it all melted down in there. So now when you spoon it all out, it's gonna be all ooey and gooey. And then there is that chicken parm. All right, let me put this on a plate. Okay guys, so here it is all plated up. The baked ziti came out like so creamy and it was cheesy. You know that it's good when you lift it out of the pan and you got that long string of cheese. And this chicken, I had a hard time getting into my plate because it was so tender. From frying it first and then baking it in the oven, it just made it so juicy and it locked in all of that flavor. So I cannot wait to go sit and eat this. Make sure you guys check that description box below for the exact measurements and ingredients and how to make this recipe. Try it. I promise you won't be disappointed. I will see you guys all next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, everyone.